Hey, it's Clay. Welcome to another League of Legends video. This is going to be another replay analysis. This game we're going to be focusing on a Rengar jungle. So thank you for sending in this replay. Just to reiterate, if you don't know anything about this, this is a replay analysis show where I will view replays sent in by you guys, the viewers. You can send your replay files to clayplaysreplayanalysis@gmail.com. You can send LAW replay files, Baron replay files, op.gg replay files, OBS replay files. I have had a lot of success with both Baron replay and op.gg. LAW replay has been very buggy and problematic. I have been able to get it work on occasion, but I cannot guarantee that if you send me a LAW replay file I can get it to work. However, with Baron replay I've been getting every single one I've tried has worked. So if you are interested, I would highly recommend using Baron replay to store some replays and then send them to me. It's a very, very stable and highly functional program. A couple of disclaimers. This show is focusing on helping players improve. I am currently actually in Platinum 1 in my promotions to Diamond. So my goal here is to try to help you guys improve. So if you're looking for that kind of coaching, replay analysis, gameplay feedback, that type of thing, this is the show for you. Also, if you want to send in a replay, I highly recommend sending one that is potentially a ranked match. I know that some of you aren't level 30 yet, and that's totally fine, but if you can send in a ranked match, I would recommend it, just because those tend to be a little bit more serious, and they tend to be a little bit closer in skill level. I also recommend sending in a game that is kind of close. Not necessarily a game where you go, I've had a couple of times where people send in replays, and they go like 25-2, and that's fantastic, but it's just, I can't really provide any feedback there because you're just so far ahead. So, close games, Baron replay, Clay plays replayanalysis@gmail.com, and you can be featured on the show. So, let's talk a little bit about Rengar jungle. Rengar jungle is definitely something that can work. Rengar, I think, is an interesting champion. When you talk about a stealth assassin, that is pretty much always going to be something that is strong in League of Legends. So I think that there's always going to be a place for Rengar jungle. Just a tiny little bit of feedback here is I think you could have done a better job of using your pots while you were clearing. I just want to back up and double check. So okay, it looks like you are using a pot, but you could be popping one right now. Using your pots consistently throughout your first jungle clear can help keep your HP up high. Then you wouldn't have to kind of back away like this. Yep, see there, you start up another pot. Just a little tiny bit of feedback, but the first clear is you did everything pretty much right. I maybe would recommend, instead of doing wraiths, I like to do wolves as a second camp just because they're a little bit faster. With wraiths you have one extra camp. There are 4 wraiths versus only 3 wolves, so I would recommend that. Alright, I really like that you've gone for the top lane gank here. Nice, very nice job right there. Well played. Hopefully he doesn't die to minions. Nice. Okay, good. So that was a nice gank. You did a nice job of identifying which lane would be easiest to gank, and that would be the lane that was pushed up. And then you did a nice job of pinging it so that your jungler, or that your top laner can respond, so that was really good. One little thought right here is, so you are kind of pushing this out, and this is fine, but it's a little bit of a greedy move on your part, and it kind of will set your Garen in a little bit of a tough spot, because if you look at this lane right now, it's going to push towards the Lee Sin, and if we look to see, yep, he's going to be back before Garen is, and so this lane is going to be pushed into tower. I think if you would have, I would have liked to see you either leave a couple of the minions so it's frozen on this side, or stay so that you can push it all the way into tower. But instead, you kind of half-pushed it, and that's going to let Lee Sin do whatever he wants. You see, he's collecting all of this golden experience, and it's kind of leaving Garen at a little bit of a difficult spot. Just a little tiny bit of feedback there. As a jungler, whenever you come into a lane like that, you always kind of want to think about how it will affect your laner in the future. Not only do you want to get yourself ahead, so it might be very beneficial for you that you got the extra minions, but I also think that you need to consider how it will affect your laners, and so a little tiny bit of feedback there. I like the Madrid start. I think that's probably the best choice on Rengar. He is pretty auto attack reliant, so the on hit damage works really nicely. Probably the best choice. You could also go Elder Lizard. Elder Lizard is definitely a good choice. Okay, going in for what looks like trying to get a gank here on the Riven. Gragas is going in, but unfortunately he's going to be... Nice snare right there. Oh, unfortunately we missed an auto attack. So that was actually well played, except for the very, very end. Let's watch this one more time. This was just a... I'm going to slow it down a little bit, and we'll get the screen out of the way. So you land a really nice bola. This was fantastic play. Get a second bola, which was good. Get your Q off, and then she flashes. You flash as well, and then you accidentally auto-attack this cannon creep. I think if you could have... I want to see... Yeah, your Q was up, so I think if you could have managed to get that Q off, but, you know, that's a mechanical error. I think, you know, just a misclick in the heat of the moment. Not necessarily something to harp on, just a little tidbit to try to improve a little bit. Oh, nice try right there. Oh, nice. I'm really curious. Oh, my goodness. Minions! Oh, wow, that was so close. Nice try. Unfortunately... Oh, man. That was pretty close. It's a little unfortunate there. Staying around for the Riven. Unfortunately, she did bait that out. And then Lee Sin picked up a kill, so... Things are going haywire here. Not necessarily sure what type of feedback. A lot of that was just a little bit unlucky. You know, Riven baited that really well, and then Vi did a nice job of showing up on time. Just kind of unfortunate is what I'll say. Not necessarily something you did wrong, and I don't think that you necessarily made the wrong decision there. It was just unfortunate. Alright, so a little tiny little piece of feedback is one thing that can help make your jungling very efficient is keeping really close track of when your buffs are spawning. So we're taking this red buff at about 7:55, which is a little bit late. Typically red buff will spawn at about the 7-minute mark, between maybe 7 and 7:20. And so knowing this, you want to try to be there as quickly as you possibly can. You know, getting those buffs is going to get you a lot of experience, and so taking a little bit of a side trip to go to this wolf camp slowed you down just a little bit. It's a small detail, a very minor thing, but you know, these little details can definitely add up. Alright, so you do decide to take this blue buff. Or it looks like you pinged for help. I'm not sure if Gragas is going to come. Yeah, at this point you probably just want to take it. Yeah, that was a little bit unfortunate. I think what I would have done there, it doesn't actually show what's in chat, but I would give the laner a little bit of heads up, because one of the things that probably happened is he was busy with Riven, you know, kind of stuck fighting her, and so it wasn't necessarily that he didn't want to come or didn't have the awareness. It was just kind of that he wasn't really able to. So give him a little bit of heads up. You know, ask in chat if he wants blue, and if he doesn't make any effort to respond, then just take it right away. So give him an opportunity to take it, and if he doesn't take it, then then you just take it. Don't necessarily kind of sit in limbo there. Another little tiny detail is you have left the minions here at the blue camp up, and that means that your blue buff is going to be spawning pretty late, which is definitely not exactly what you want. Oh, she's gonna get... Yeah, that was a little unfortunate. Let's watch this one more time. Okay, so we see that Gragas is going all in. Now, if I were watching this, I would look at a couple things right here. First, I would see that Gragas, you know, your camera should be in this area. I would see that Gragas whiffed his ult, and also that he's out of mana. So understand that in order to finish off this kill, you're pretty much going to have to do all the work. Gragas doesn't have any mana to help you out. Also, I'm not exactly sure if that was a bug or not, but I thought you might have gotten a jump, and then she gets away. So at that point, yeah, a little unfortunate, and you don't have flash up yet, so that's a little rough. A couple of just kind of unfortunate things so far at mid lane have really gone against you.
Time for talk is over.
Oh, I think they might get this kill. Wow. Gragas, alright. Well, that was a little unfortunate. Okay, so yeah, just a couple of unfortunate things. But when you are going to go in for a risky play like that, when you're going to take a risk and try to tower dive, a very important thing to do is to try and take into account all of the little details and variables. You know, when you go for a risky play, you should be doing like a risk-reward analysis in your mind. You know, so the reward is that you get the kill on Riven, which would be a good thing. However, the risk is escalated by a lot of factors. One, that Gragas doesn't have any mana, that he whiffed his ult, and two, that you don't have flash. If you would have flash available, maybe that would have been a little different, you know. But taking into account all of those little variables is very important. And now it looks like Gragas is in trouble. Good flash right there, but again, she's going to get away. So this Riven is really given a lot of trouble. And at this point, this is kind of something that I think there's a little bit of... Yeah, see, the blue still hasn't actually spawned. That's the first time we had cleared it. So about 4 or 5 minutes, you know, less blue time than you could have had is definitely suboptimal. I'll get back to my point in a second. So it looks like we go in and going to get a nice kill. Okay, so this, just a couple of things to think about is... Well, first and foremost, your laners are really struggling, but you have had very little success ganking mid lane and quite a bit of success ganking top lane. So I would just try to continue doing what is working. You know, understanding what's going well and what isn't. You know, this Gragas lane, I don't necessarily think you're going to be able to help it that much. But with Garen, Lee Sin has proven that he can be somebody that you can take advantage of. And to get back to my point earlier, is a lot of times, you know, I've heard some differing opinions, and it's kind of an interesting topic of discussion, is when you're a jungler, what do you do? Just a little tiny detail here, but you should be probably taking these pots to make sure you're topped up. And I don't think this is a very good fight to engage here. Yeah, I think this is your death. Okay, I want to finish my point before I get into this topic. So, when you're a jungler, and a lane is losing, you have two options. One, you can try and gank that lane and turn it around. Or two, is you can kind of let that lane go and try and gank other parts of the map to try to snowball them and get them ahead. So, in this case, you have kind of kept going back to this mid lane, and it hasn't been working, and it's actually been snowballing against you. So, in this situation, I would try to kind of understand, number one, that Riven has high mobility, and she has good baiting potential. She's got a lot of burst. You know, her shield has been a problem. So understand that continuing to go back towards mid lane has been kind of a difficult situation. On the other hand, going top lane has yielded some success, even though this Garen is getting totally wrecked in creeps. And then you have not tried going bot lane yet. One thing I would say about Rengar is this Vayne Sona lane is potentially one that you could gank very well. Now the problem though is that Teemo and Tristana aren't going to provide any support in terms of crowd control, so your bull is the only thing you bring. So just kind of understanding where on the map you can be strong is really important. If I were you, I would give up on mid lane and try to focus my attention elsewhere. Maybe bottom lane to try to get Tristana going. Also, we need to talk a little bit about what just happened here. I think that this all-in here on the Vi was definitely a mistake, and I'll just two little tiny reasons. One is that Vi is on full health. Oh, she's got a really weird skill order. And then number two is that you are on lower health, and then number two is that she has red buff and you don't. So, you know, like I said, you should probably be taking your pots. Now, you haven't transformed your Feral Flare yet. She's got Elder Lizard. I mean, looking at your equal level, looking at all the variables available to you, I think that in my mind it's pretty clear that Vi has an advantage. She has a better jungle item in terms of immediate combat stats. She has a health advantage, and she has a red buff. So all of those things combined means that you're probably not going to be able to win this fight. And still, we engage, and it just goes badly. And we'll end up dying just because we can't get away. You know, that red buff is going to keep slowing. Vi probably did not need to flash there. I think if she'd been maxing Q, she would have been fine. So things are looking a little bleak. All the lanes are struggling. You know, but again, I really think that this is an important time to try to really analyze, you know, what exactly do you want to do? On, you know, where can you find success? Where can you make good things happen on the map? You know, Garen just got a solo kill on Lee Sin. I mean, what if you can turn Garen into this, you know, unkillable high damage raid boss? I don't know, just a thought. I think as a jungler you need to find your own style, you need to find what works for you. But in my opinion, I think that continuing to try to go mid lane is a little bit of a fool's errand, meaning that it's just not going to produce the results and the success that you're maybe hoping for. Okay, so it looks like we're at 20 stacks on our Feral Flare. We really want to get that upgraded as soon as possible as well. Just a little tip, I really would have used my smite on the big one. I think using it on the small one is a mistake. And we kind of get caught out right here. Let's just back this up and see what happened. So again, I think if you look at all of the variables available to you, we've got Vayne, who's a level 10. You're a level 9. She's got blue buff. Tristana's level 8. She's got a huge item disadvantage. Vayne has Blade of the Ruin King. And then, yeah, you get spotted out, and then, yeah, I just think that this is a situation where if you would have kind of done a little bit better job of understanding... Yeah, Tristana, not quite your best play there, my friend. Done a little bit better job of understanding when to pick good fights. You know, looking at all of the information available to you, coming to the conclusion that, you know what, I need to be a little bit cautious here, because Vayne is so strong, and Tristana's not going to really be able to help me. I'm a little bit on low HP. You know, if you put all those variables together, I think that you can come to the conclusion that, hey, this is a place where I really don't want to fight. So, alright, nice. I like the Moby boots. I think at this point, with Rengar, this is probably where Rengar is the strongest. Whenever your ultimate is up, with Moby boots, Brutalizer, like this is, you really want to be trying to get as many picks as possible, finding targets that are overextended, and trying to get this game snowballing back in the right direction. And I think it's fine to come down and collect some of the CS, but also understand that when you do that, you're kind of leaving your team out to dry, and they're fighting here. Like, this would be a great time to ultimate in his Rengar and get this kill on this Vayne. But, you know, we went bottom lane, we collected some of that farm. I think that this is really, you know, if you look at your items, there we go in. Nice job. See, oh, actually, we're not quite actually strong enough to get this kill. See, now I think it's a little bit late. Your team has already died. Nice job, that was good. Hopefully Garen could do something good here. Ult? Oh, Demacia. Oh, he did get it with Ignite, nice. Is he gonna live? Nice, okay. Let's watch this fight one more time. And kind of see if I can collect my thoughts a little bit. So, I think at this point, let's just pause. Instead of coming down here, I think it would have been better to see that your team is going mid and try and prepare for a little bit of a counter gank. Excuse me, guys. You understand that your team is pushed up and that they're trying to siege down this tower. It seems, at least in my mind, pretty likely that something bad is about to happen, and as such it is. So you kind of are toying with engaging. I think that if I were you, I mean, we talked a little bit before about when to engage. You know, understanding all the variables, doing the risk analysis. I think at this point, you know, really trying to turn this gank around specifically might have been a good choice. See, now instead we come in when it's too late. So I think that, let me kind of focus this one more time. Okay, so in my opinion, I think the best thing to have done here would be to either be here and be ready to counter gank right about in this time while they're baiting. You know, they're really trying to get, your allies are still high enough health that they can help you, but now they get picked off, both of them end up getting killed, and then that's the time when you go in, when nobody's there to help you. I just think that if you would have done a little bit better job of understanding, you know, when to go in at a time when your allies can help you, go in at a time when it is most advantageous, I think that might have been a little bit of a stronger choice, just in my mind. Something to just think about, you know. A lot of times in this type of situation, when your team is down by so much, you know, there's a 8,000 gold lead or so, it's just kind of a difficult situation to be in. But I think if you could have done a little bit better job of identifying the correct moment to go in, You know, either go in when your team can help you and they're still got some high health, or don't go in at all. Because going in after everybody is dead is a little bit, I guess, just not exactly going to work. Understanding too what, you know, the item build that you've gone for with, you know, Moby Boots, Brutalizer, Rengar, you know, this is the type of build that really wants to be roaming and trying to pick up kills with your stealth and snowballing. You know, so try to really use the power that your items are giving you to try to create advantages across the map. I think sieging this mid tower is totally fine, and then pinging for dragon is totally fine. Now your team isn't coming, so I think that it might have been just better to stay with them. You know, this right here is trouble. This is going to end badly. I can already tell you this. Everybody's going to die, and you can try to get the dragon, but just imagine if you were here, you could have definitely picked up this kill in this Vi and helped Garen turn this around. I think that, yeah, he does end up getting this kill, but then he might be in some trouble. I guess I think that doing a little bit better job of understanding, you know, when to group, how to maximize what your allies can give you, might have helped you a little bit better to make a little bit better decisions in this mid game and help try to bring this game back. You know, you get the dragon though, that's good. Can't fault you on that. But I think that if you would have helped Garen at the end of that team fight, you could have potentially gotten the dragon anyways. You know, dragon is still something that you can get, that you can take even after that fight is over. I think you maybe abandoned your team a little bit too early. Alright, so we're making our way a little closer towards Feral Flare. Might have been a potential opportunity to use your ultimate there. You know, we see that you have a 4v3. You know, you see Lee Sin on the map. We just saw Vayne bottom lane. Might have been a time to try and engage 4v3. I think a big theme of this commentary so far has just been trying to really identify when are the times to go in, when are the times to fight, when are the times to be aggressive. That was good. That was very good. Unfortunately, Teemo with the KS, but yeah, that was very good. I think that was fantastic. You identified an isolated target. That's exactly the type of people that Rengar is really good at taking down. You know, your stealth is strongest on an isolated target when there's not a lot they can do in response. Maybe I'd like to see you just kind of wait out and top off your health. We'll see how much you get back while jungling. Okay, looks like your team is doing a nice job of picking up kills. You guys are turning it around, even with the gold disadvantage. Okay, Baron I think is a good call. Okay, it looks like your team is coming. Now we need Garen to tank. This is a little bit annoying just because, yeah, we need somebody to get in there and tank this thing up. Alright, that was good. Good job of dancing aggro there. I think that was totally fine. You got a nice team fight win. You took a tower, you took Baron. Now if you can go back and defend mid lane, I think that you guys are in a decent position to try to mount a comeback. Still have a little bit of a gold disadvantage, but not something that can't be overcome. Excuse me, guys. Got a little bit of a cough this morning. And just to kind of look and see how this game has played out, we can see that Garen is the one who's 8-1. And just to kind of refocus my point earlier, I definitely think that if you would have continued to try and gank that lane, I think it really would have paid off. You know, Garen has been the strong one on this team. Okay, it looks like we get caught out a little bit here, but nice. Okay, that was good. I think that this team fight has gone really well. Good job focusing Vayne. Very, very nice. Now focus. That was good. That was good. Good team fighting right there. Rengar, I think, typically isn't the best person to initiate a team fight, but that worked out. You know, understand that your team has quite a bit of crowd control and follow-up damage. You know, with Tristana and Teemo and Gragas, you guys have quite a bit of damage. Gragas is bringing some nice follow-up CC, so putting yourself out there like that, I think, was a nice choice. You guys really have turned this game around and put these guys on the ropes, which I think you've done a nice job. Now, this tower dive, probably not so nice. Especially if Gragas is going to go Glass Cannon like he is. You know, Rod of Ages, Zonya's. Pretty squishy. I think it's a nice job. Okay, checking red is fine. I maybe would have just stolen the big Wraith right here to add another stack to your Feral Flare. You can do pretty quickly with your Smite Up. Just a little minor thing. You know, taking the big Wraith will give you an extra stack. It'll take gold away from their team. Nice job of prioritizing armor here. There's no reason to build magic resist whatsoever. Armor is definitely going to be your best friend. Now, unfortunately, it looks like your team is doing a little bit of splitting. Not necessarily a lot you can do about that. I think that you were fine to go back. This is just them getting caught out. Not really too much that can be said. I do like that you are attempting to go here and help these guys out. Man, Garen is regenerating so much health. That is obscene. Very nice job of... Very, very nice. That was really well played. I think, yeah, continue to go on this. Go for the Vayne. Nice. Let the Sona go. Okay, now your team splits off. Stay with your team. Good. Now is the time to go for the Sona. Teemo got her. That was good. Can we collapse on Lee Sin? I bet we can. That was nice. You played that fight very well, I think. Some really nice plays right there. Looks like Lee is just totally struggling. But that was nice. You did a nice job of understanding that you could take that fight. That Garen was regenning. He regens so much health. That was obscene. I haven't actually seen Garen in action. Like a late game Garen. I think his passive is like totally maxed out right now. So that's pretty obscene. Alright. So, fortunately our Tristana is trying to be a tank. Wasn't the best. Now at this point I think you just gotta try and fight. You're probably not going to get away. Okay, good flash. But now your team is still in the fight. Yeah, probably fine. Maybe could have just tried to turn... Well, I think if you would have stayed there, the best thing that would have happened was you would have traded 1 for 1. I don't necessarily think anything better could have happened. Teemo, you guys can do this. Oh yeah, Gragas. Oh, if you would have body slammed. I think Teemo's got that. Oh, the shield. Dang, Gragas. Okay, she still got the kill. I think Gragas could have done a better job of turning to help out there. Alright, it's fine taking care of these minions. Now I think going mid to help your team is the best choice. Your ult is coming up in 5 seconds. Nice, that was very good. You know, part of playing Rengar is understanding how to be very opportunistic. You guys have really turned this game around. I think that that's really been good. You've done a nice job of staying together as a team, working together as a team, understanding that you have strength in numbers. And even though their Riven and their Vayne are really strong, you guys haven't really given them the optimal opportunity for them to use their power by staying grouped. Staying grouped is definitely what you want to do. You know, Garen is the really strong one on your team. Nice job ulting. Go for the Vayne. Perfect. Beautiful. You know, that's exactly what you want to do with Rengar. As somebody who plays a lot of AD carry, you know, when Rengar is popular, it's really sad because, you know, Rengar has does such a good job of sticking on top of AD carries. Oh, those Gragas ults. Makes me sad. But Rengar does such a good job of getting on top of AD carries from stealth. It's just really difficult to deal with as an AD carry. And so you did a really nice job of focusing the correct target there. You guys have really turned this around. Yeah, I'd say go on this Riven. You've got a good snare. Okay, looks like Garen back to stop the split pushing Lee Sin. So I also think that this is really the time to back out. A couple thoughts here is I think that the best thing you could do at this point is to ward up. You actually have your trinket available. Place a ward either right here or right here, just to give you vision of them heading towards Baron. And then, you know, healing is definitely the right choice. Wow. And then, you know, getting ready to try to take an objective is exactly what you want to be doing. Getting a couple more flare stacks is fine, but I would be a little cautious. Okay, very good going on this Vayne. Nice, very, very nice. You know, again, as Rengar, I think you're making the right choice in using your ultimate as a tool to get to Vayne. Vayne has been one of the strongest members of their team, so going for her is definitely the right choice. Okay, good, very nice. Going for the right targets again. I think you guys can probably just go end the game off this. So, yeah, you've done a nice job. Just to kind of reiterate some of the feedback, you know, just some little things to optimize your jungle path. Understanding what lanes to gank and what lanes to leave behind. You know, in this game, I think it's been really clear that the Garen was the strong player on your team. So, as a jungler, I think that the smartest thing you can do is to put all your eggs in that basket. You know, it was clear that the Gragas was not having any success against the Riven. So in my mind, I think the best thing to do is just let that lane go. And then once we got into the mid game, really understand your itemization, you know, with the Moby Boots and the Pharaoh Flare and the tank and also Ghostblade. You know, you really want to be roaming and getting picks, and you really did a nice job of starting to do that. You know, roaming with your team. You know, they were isolated. Lee Sin never grouped. Riven and Vayne are a lot better in small skirmishes, but not quite so good in these big, crazy team fights. So for you to be using your ult to get to Vayne, take her out of the fight, turn it into a 3v5, is exactly what you want to be doing. So I think you did a nice job of adjusting as the game went on from a game that was really behind to a game that you pulled out in the end. So overall, a nice gameplay. Definitely some good things I think we can take away and learn here, but also some good decision makings that led to a victory. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts down below. Please send in your replay analysis for your replays for replay analysis to clayplaysreplayanalysis@gmail.com, and you could be on the next episode. Thanks again. Bye.